We'll continue with the next topic, that is biometrics. Okay. So coming to this biometric, and it here it is what once after the concept of passwords that was used for the authentication purpose, the next level of authentication was took up to the concept of biometric. Okay, so what are the biometrics, and what this biometric identification includes is the biometric identification. It includes face recognition, voice recognition, manual signature, fingerprints, patterns in the iris of human eye and DNA, behavioral traits, keystroke dynamics, and a person's gait. So these are some of the biometric identifications that I have listed for you. Okay, so in the initial days we had what this fingerprints actually. Okay, so see in now what is this biometric identification, or what is biometric is the passwords in later days were replaced by biometric. Okay, so when I say biometric, it is not one single concept, it includes these many types. That is what I have referred here. So face recognition, when we come to this face recognition, the face of an individual will be captured in different angles, and those face will be processed, and some of the features will be extracted, and it will be stored in the system. So whenever the same individual wants to authenticate himself, he'll just provide his face as the authentication. He'll use his face for the purpose of authentication or authenticating. So then at that point of time, in real time, again the face will be captured and features will be extracted, and the extracted feature currently will be compared with the samples that was already been collected, and if it matches, then we'll say that yes, is an authorized person. The same explanation hold good for voice recognition as well. Okay, so the voice of a person can be used for authenticating himself for any of the system. Okay, so next is manual signature. So this manual signature, you can just link this up to with the behavioral way of biometric. Okay, so when he'll sign the manual signature, so he'll have his own way of signing it. So during the process of signing, the potential that he is putting to sign, the lot of physics concept will be used in order to see the dynamics of his way of signing. So he might stress at some point, or he might get relaxed at some point of his signature. So the time where he'll get relaxed, the time where he'll get stressed up, so this stroke of sign, his dynamics of sign, the physics dynamic of his sign will be studied for, and that those features of a signature will be extracted and it will be stored, and later on it will be used for authentication purpose. And as you all know, fingerprints. So fingerprints is a usual way of biometric method that we have. So fingerprints, and next the next level, the biometric concept was taken into next level, where they relied on the patterns of iris of a human eye and DNA. So what is this? I'll be explaining you in detail. Next, the behavioral traits, the keystroke dynamics. So as I said, one of the best example is the way in which you sign. So or when you enter the passwords, so you'll have a usual tendency of the keystroke, the way in which you'll give the stroke for the keys. And also the person gait also matters a lot. Even the behavioral study of individuals can also be done, and that can in turn be used as a biometric authorization. Okay. And as I already mentioned, biometric concept is an alternative or a complement to passwords. The concept of passwords was later on replaced by biometric, because the biometrics are very much unique. Okay, so coming to the two main process that is involved in biometric system is, one is the enrollment and recognition. So when I was explaining the concept of face recognition, so I said initially the picture of face, or the face will be captured in different angles. So in the side view, the front view, like with all this the possibilities, all sort of variations, I'll be capturing the face of a individual, and the same will be stored as a samples in the system for the purpose of studying. Okay, so that is called as enrollment. So I'll enroll myself providing the different angles of my own face. Okay, later on we'll go for recognition concept. So here recognition, see here it is not like it is not a single word, so you have to split it up and spell it as recognition. See, the process of cognition is, so whenever you are being provided okay, whenever you have been provided the knowledge of any of the concept for the first time, that is cognition. That the meaning of cognition is acquiring a knowledge of any of the individual, okay, any of the component for the first time. If you are seeing it, say for example for the newborn baby, or 1 month or 2 month of baby, or some 6 months of baby, or 1 year of baby, we'll start teaching them each and everything. Say for example, I'll just show apple, and and I'll teach that this is a fruit and this fruit is called as apple. So that process is cognition for that baby. Okay, so for the next time, if I show the same apple and ask you to identify, okay, so cognize, recognize, and if the baby could identify it as apple, then that process is recognition. Okay, so now initially I have collected the set of samples with me. So now that set of samples is next used for the matching purpose. Okay, so the second so enrollment is, I'll enroll myself to a system, and the second one is in the real time, if I want to authenticate myself to the system. So again what I'll do, I'll just provide my face. So it will capture my face. The process, again the feature extraction will be taken, so that features will in turn be compared with the existing features, and if they match, then it will be recognized. Okay, so next is biometric is used at least in 2 different situations. One is the authentication, what I'm speaking in the entire session. Next is identification. Okay, so these two are 2 different concepts. Authentication is just verification. I'm just verifying that this person is an authorized one. The comparison will take place with those set of samples and what the in real time whatever I have given. Okay, that set of samples. Okay, only with those set of samples. Next is identification. So identification, you can just link this concept with the criminal identification. Okay, so now the same sample is compared with a huge database. Okay, the feature will be extracted and that feature will be compared with the entire database, because a criminal wouldn't have given samples there. Okay, So in different angles he wouldn't have given samples, or he wouldn't have been enrolled. So what the crime analyst would have done is, he would have captured his images in different situations or in different places. So all those criminals details all the criminals pictures will be taken, and their feature extraction will be done. And now I am comparing this sample with those huge set of database. Okay, so there comes identification. So I am comparing this, or trying to identify this individual in that set of database, that is identification. Okay, so authentication, I'll have limited people in my database, and the samples. So say for example, in our college, instead of having the fingerprint, say if we add face recognition, of course we have face recognition as well. Okay, so what happens there is, so as soon as I go and show my face, so that face will get compared with the set of employees there. So how many employees does the organization have? So say some 300, 400, maximum of 500. So my face will be compared with only that 500 number of samples, I mean to say the 500 peoples. Whereas when it comes to identification, I'm identifying a person with a huge set. I'm trying to identify this person in that huge set, which I'm not actually aware of. So that is identification. Next, coming to the characteristics of a good biometric is, first one is universality. Universality is it is like universally available. Okay, so all human beings should be able to contribute a sample of biometric, and this is not always possible with common biometrics used. Okay, say for example, one that is the universality, that is the human should be able to contribute the sample of biometric. Okay, so all the human being like all the things, or like all the what we can say, the biometric that I am specifying, it should be in such a way that the sample should be able to be provided. Okay, I can't just say that okay, this portion of the human beings is very much unique. Okay, it might be unique, but I should be able to draw the sample of it. Okay, so such biometric, it is called as that feature of the biometric is called as universality. So any of the biometric from which the sample could be drawn. Okay, next, uniqueness. So uniqueness is in the entire course, the biometric should not get changed. Say for example, I can't take voice as the unique one, because in the younger age we'll have different voice. So as and when we grow, the voice keeps changing. Okay, so when we grow old, our voice will get changed. When we are adults, we'll have a different pitch of voice, and the voice quality will be different. So as we grow and become elderly people, so then it is different. And when we grow even more old, and when we reach our old age, so the voice will get changed entirely. Okay, so there is uniqueness is in the course of the entire lifetime, the biometric should remain unique. It should remain same. Say for example, our iris. Okay, so its growth is only up to 5 years. Okay, so after 5 years and till your death, there is no any growth to your iris, and it remains the same. Okay, so that is uniqueness. And next is permanence. Uniqueness, whatever the explanation I gave, it is for the permanence. Okay, so it will remain the same, it will be permanent. So whatever the explanation just now I gave, it is for permanence. And uniqueness is two different people should not have the same the sample. Okay, so when the same example I can just take iris. Iris is unique to each and every individuals. Even the mother and the baby will not have the same iris. Even the twins, the two children who take birth at the same time, even those two will not have same iris. That is the uniqueness of iris. Whereas when it comes to voice, so the voice of a person can be imitated. The same voice can be generated or it can be imitated. So that is so again I can take the voice, it cannot be unique. Okay, universality, yes, I can draw the sample of it, but when it comes to uniqueness, it fails, because two individuals, they may or may not have same voice, but at least they can imitate. But when it comes to permanence, so when I say permanence, it is like from the beginning till the end, the sample should not get changed. Okay, so next concept is error measures. So how exactly I'll be measuring the error? So I said, like the current data will be compared with the sampled data. So how this comparison takes place, what are the error measures that we'll take care of? So when it comes to the concept of iris, or even the face recognition, or in most of the applications we rely on Hamming distance. Okay, so Hamming distance is nothing but say the time when I have captured a image of a face, so there might be a dim light, or the source of light is really very good. So in those cases what happens, the image that is captured, the pixel values might get vary. Okay, I'm just taking an example. This is one of the way which was used in the preliminary stages, and nowadays we don't rely on that. We have else there are many other methods for comparing the things. Okay, so the pixel value of a point in the sample and the pixel value in a certain coordinate x comma y in the current data will be compared. Okay, so it should, we'll keep a threshold, so that comparison we'll do it by using the concept of Hamming distance. Okay, so x and y, if I have x, y is the current data coordinate values, and x dash and y dash is the sampled data value. So I'll perform that x1 plus x dash by 2, y plus y dash by 2. Okay, so I'll get, or I'll be subtracting the value of x dash minus x determinant by 2, or the value, next y dash minus y divided by 2. So that coordinate values what I'll get, so that value should not exceed certain threshold. Okay, because I don't know what is the source of light that is available when the current data was captured, and what was the source of light provided when the samples were captured. So we'll not get the exact match if I sit and compare two images. So some variation will be there. So that variation should not exceed certain threshold. So what is the threshold value? How do I get that threshold value? So that is brute force technique. Okay, trial and error method. So I would have studied with certain set of samples, I would have performed a large number of experiments, and I would have arrived at that threshold value. So if that does not exceed that threshold value, then those two are same. Okay, I'll just come to a conclusion that they match. If it exceeds the threshold, I'll come to a conclusion that they doesn't match. But there are lot of scenarios where like we'll end up with false rejection rate, false to accept rate, even the fraud rate. Okay, so many times the softwares will fail to identify the persons, though if I provide the same person data, the current data and sample data belong to the same person, but many times this concept will fail because of as I already mentioned, the external features where the image has been captured. Okay, there are a lot of limitations, so it might it might fail to compare those two and say that yes, they belong to the same person. Okay, so many times it happens so that the person, though the current data and sample data, they don't belong to the same person, but still it will give you an result like yes, they too match. Okay, so this is called as false accept rate and false reject rate. And so when it comes to the forensics or the criminology, we have to make sure that the softwares that we are coming up with for such recognitions, it has to work with a very less fraud rate. Okay, next is this is all about error measures, so you can just understand or go through it in detail in the textbook there. Next is case studies, fingerprints and iris. So when it comes to fingerprints, as you all know, we have certain patterns in our in the hand, in the fingers. So we'll have circular form of pattern, we'll have the upward elevated sort of patterns. Okay, so these patterns are actually called as miniatures. Okay, so we'll have miniature way. So there are different types of we also call them as ridges. So certain ridges, they end at a certain point. We'll have small ridges, we'll have bifurcations, likewise. Okay, so these patterns of all the fingers will be extracted, and their features will be extracted, and the same will be stored as samples. So in the current time, when you give your fingerprint, so the features will be extracted and those features will be compared with the sample data features. Okay, when it comes to iris, so again, iris, it is not a very simple task that happens, because you first as a person who is actually working with the iris, you should know where is iris located in your eye. Okay, so you have to pre-process the captured eye content. So there you have to go reach the iris pattern. So from iris pattern you have to extract the features, and that is all done with we have Gabor wavelets and all. Okay, so those two-dimensional Gabor wavelet functions we have, you can just make use of them and extract them, and you can just you will perform modulation, demodulation, all this process it happens, and then we'll create a 2048-bit iris signature, and this 2048-bit iris signature will be called as iris code. Okay, so again here the extracted samples will have, so sample and the current data, when current time when you extract the iris content, so again a 2048-bit iris signature will be generated, and that iris code will be compared with the sample iris code. Again, the comparison here, it happens with the help of Hamming distance only, but when it comes to iris, we call it as binomial distribution. Okay, you can just make use of that and compare them, and just check whether they belong to the same person or to other persons. Okay, so since they are case studies, I would urge you guys to go through it and understand the things in detail. Okay, so the two biometric concepts or the case studies that we go through is fingerprints and iris scan. Okay, so this is all about the authentication too. Okay, so guys, please prepare notes of your own. I am providing the notes as well, but still it is a very good practice that if you guys can prepare the notes on your own. So listen to the video lecture, immediately look into the textbook, go through what I explained, and prepare notes of your own. Okay, thank you guys. So this is all about authentication